Good evening, Professor Phillips and fellow classmates. My name is Anita Dominguez, and this is my final film analysis project. We're going to start off with racial socialization. And racial socialization relates to one's race and its relationship with inter-individual relationships. For example, in the movie Dear White People, Sam, an African American, is in a relationship with a white man named Gabe. And even in a predominantly white school, there are rallies to speak up for African American rights, which includes white and other races, helping African Americans in that fight for their rights in education, whether it is in colleges or universities. So racial socialization is important because there's no discrimination against race, color of skin, religion, or sexual orientation. African Americans have a lower graduation expectancy. They also have a higher risk of facing suspension, and living in low socioeconomic cities have less access to resources like textbooks and technologies, and the preparation that teachers may have may not always be up to date, which also means that students will always achieve their high potential in learning, and that's included even in colleges and universities for the movie Dear White People, where the African Americans don't have the same privileges or things that other races have, like the whites that may have, which can, push them or force them to drop out of college or do other things that may not be the same as other races or cultures do in colleges or universities. And the next slide is from 2011 to 2012. The highest rate of suspension was for Black or African Americans. And blackface is a term, a long history of being used in colleges and universities to demean, belittle, and objectify people of color. Which means that, they don't get the same treatment. There's always discrimination against Black and other people of color. That has been going on in universities and colleges as well. In regards to sexual identity, LGBTQ African Americans face added discrimination, first because of their race, and second because of having a sexual identity different than the norm. But throughout the years, there have been changes, and there has been more acceptance towards the LGBTQ and African Americans that are part of the LGBTQ. It is important to accept and support each other no matter what the race, sexual orientation, religion, or color of skin. In the movie Dear White People, during a rally meeting, there's a conversation which informs us that of the support that the LGBTQ community is providing to the African American community, which is important to have the support of other people, no matter the race, sexual orientation, or the color of the skin. Relationship among Africans. Family, community, and values are highly important to the African American families, as well as relationships among individual members as well as others. It's also important, such as mutual aid, caring for others, interdependence, solidarity, reciprocal obligations, and social harmony. In the movie Hello White People, we are able to see that African Americans come together no matter where they were raised or their neighborhood. They came together for the greater good, which was to fight for their rights in education. And this slide is a picture of one blood. And when I see it, it doesn't matter where you come from. We're all of the same blood. And in conclusion, we can see that African Americans have come a long way in regards to their rights in education and in their sexual orientation, as well as their rights in the social world. Although there are still struggles to this day, the fight for right does not end. African Americans from all backgrounds unite for the greater good of all African Americans, and that is something to admire.